Now on KXLY4 HD News at 6, we have team coverage of all the latest local news, including a suspicious duplex fire under investigation. Plus, we learn more on the investigation and capture of the Boston Marathon bomber suspect. And Annie Bishop is live on the Skydeck with how our local police force is growing. Live in the newsroom, I'm Colleen O'Brien. Your local news starts now.
Live from the KXLY4 HD Broadcast Center in downtown Spokane. This is KXLY4 HD News at 6.
We will run another marathon. One bigger and better than ever.
Today, the people of Boston are celebrating the capture of the remaining marathon bombing suspect. Yesterday, the city of Boston shut down as police searched for Johar Tsarnaev, one of the suspected marathon bombers. His brother, Tamerlan, was killed in a firefight Thursday night. After a 24-hour manhunt, authorities finally caught the 19-year-old hiding in a boat in someone's backyard last night. He was badly wounded and is currently in a Boston hospital being treated for serious injuries. Authorities blame the brothers for the marathon bombings and for the shooting death of an MIT campus officer. Today, Boston, of course, trying to get back to normal after all of this. ABC's Brandy Hitt reports from Boston.
Won't you join us as we observe a moment of silence?
After a solemn moment at Fenway Park honoring the victims of the Boston Marathon bombings, the Red Sox and their fans told the world they were finished living in fear.
This is our city.
Less than 24 hours ago, it was a much different feeling as the intense manhunt for second bombing suspect Johar Tsarnaev came to a close. Hours after Johar's older brother Tamerlan was killed in a shootout, a resident discovered the 19-year-old hiding and bleeding in his boat.
He is moving. We have movement in the boat.
In an exclusive interview with ABC News, George Bizzuto, a neighbor of the boat owner, described the chaos.
I heard them yelling, "Get out, get out, get out."
Johar is in serious but stable condition, unable to communicate, with a heavy police presence surrounding his hospital room.
We have a million questions, and those questions need to be answered.
Immigrants of the Russian Caucasus, the brothers came to the U.S. 12 years ago, became athletes, and attended top Boston schools. Then, after spending several months in Russia, Tamerlan allegedly started posting radical videos urging jihad, and Johar began posting anti-American tweets.
Boston, baby! Boston!
As investigators try to determine a motive, the people of Boston are finally breathing a sigh of relief.
You can knock us down, you can beat us up, but we're going to get right back up again.
As a sign of unity, the entire crowd at the Red Sox game also sang the national anthem together as they wait for Johar Tsarnaev to be charged. Brandy Hitt, ABC News, Boston.
Surveillance video played a key role in tracking down those bombing suspects. Video, a useful tool for police departments across the country, including right here in Spokane. Spokane police estimate there are hundreds of cameras in the downtown area alone.
Civilians video, businesses video, all that stuff, our own video is so very vital to what we do at times. Can break a case, help us ID people, literally the evidence, and sometimes be right there on camera. So it's an invaluable tool for us.
If you're wondering if all these cameras are legal, they are indeed. The Supreme Court ruled there is no expectation of privacy when you're in a public space. For the latest updates on the marathon bombing investigation, check into KXLY.com. It's always there for you. We're going to get a little bit more rain before we see the sun, but things are looking good. Let's check in with Aaron Luna over in the Weather Center. You might as well just skip ahead to the sun, Aaron. That's the good part anyways.
Yeah, I know. Forget tomorrow. Let's work into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, where we'll see sunshine in 60s. Of course, if you saw the start of the show, we don't need a wind sock. You had Annie Bishop's hair up there on the sky deck showing us wind out of the west. Pretty strong right now. We also have some activity over the higher elevations in the northeast and into the panhandle. You can see just a little bit of a rain-snow mix up in the mountains, but mostly we're seeing rain and some valley rain also. Spokane not doing too bad either. We're looking at just a few scattered showers throughout the area right there, but otherwise we've been staying pretty clear, and that will continue into tomorrow. Now, looking at our current temperatures right now, we're 59 in Spokane, Coeur d'Alene at 55, Sandpoint at 44, down in the 60s in the Tri-Cities, upper 60s there, and then Yakima 66. Wenatchee hit 62. Your HD day planner breaks down like this: 38 in the morning, 47 by noon. There's a chance we'll see some thunderstorms, but just a very slight chance, and those isolated showers should stick mostly to the northeast. 52 in the evening, that's below average. We'll tell you just how warm we're going to get in a few minutes. Colleen?
Thank you, Aaron. New into KXLY4 tonight, the Spokane Valley Fire Department is investigating a suspicious overnight duplex fire that caused more than $100,000 in damage. The fire broke out around 3 this morning at the 8900 block of East Broadway. No one was inside the duplex, and this is the second fire at that location in 5 months. The cause of the fire is suspicious and is under investigation. The Spokane Police Department wants to put more officers on the streets and hopes you can help. KXLY4's Annie Bishop is live on the Sky Deck with all the details. Annie?
And Colleen, the department wants to hire between 5 and 10 officers as soon as possible and as funding allows. A lieutenant today told me that staffing levels have reached a critical level and it needs to change.
The Spokane Police Department is hiring, searching for a few good men and women to keep our community safe.
I'll tell you who makes a good officer: somebody that you and I would want to respond if one of our loved ones was in some type of need. That's what I use as the standard.
Lieutenant Rick DeBrow is in charge of recruiting and training officers. There are 272 officers on the payroll right now. DeBrow says it's simply not enough.
Our officers are handling numerous calls for service. They have little time to come up for air, and it's just call after call after call.
And sometimes longer waits for help.
We just don't have enough resources, and the situation is not dire, but it can't get any worse.
Today, DeBrow held one of 2 informational meetings. Police Chief Frank Straub says he wants people with life experience to apply.
We want our police department to reflect the community we serve.
Starting salary for an officer is $44,000 a year. With the city making $10 million in budget cuts this year, the chief now trying to figure out how to pay for more men and women to patrol our streets.
The conversations that are going on now is how big should the police department be? How do we grow the police department? How do we have a sustainable funding stream for the police department?
And the chief and mayor expect to announce in the next few weeks a plan to come up with that long-term funding. If you'd like to apply, just go to our website. There's a link on the story there. You have until May 3rd. Reporting live on the Sky Deck, Annie Bishop, KXLY4 HD News.
Thank you, Annie. New into KXLY4 tonight, 3 suspects under arrest for an armed invasion in Tico. 2 victims were in the home at the time of the break-in, and the suspects were allegedly armed with a handgun and stun gun. 29-year-old William Lowley, 25-year-old Keith Greensky, and 25-year-old Christina Abramson were all arrested. All 3 are expected to be charged with first-degree robbery and first-degree burglary. Around the nation now, the explosion at the West Texas fertilizer plant has federal assistance pouring in. President Barack Obama declared a state of emergency. The blast not only destroyed the plant, but many homes and nearby buildings as well. The death toll sits at 14. Thousands of people converged in Denver today to celebrate marijuana. The annual rally, known as 420 on 420, was expected to draw an even larger crowd this year since Colorado legalized the recreational use of marijuana. Washington also voted to legalize the recreational use of marijuana this year. The State Liquor Control Board said it will hand out growing licenses in December. Multiple airlines asking federal court to stop the upcoming furlough of air traffic controllers. They predict 6,700 flights a day being delayed, with some wait times of up to 4 hours. Those furloughs start tomorrow. The FAA says it has to do this to all 47,000 of its employees to meet the congressionally mandated spending cuts. KXLY is hosting a photo contest for everyone attending tomorrow's Race for the Cure. Send us your best photos from the race and include a brief caption too. Our favorite pictures will be shared during Monday evening's newscast. Those photos will also be compiled in a gallery on our community websites. Just email your pictures to photos@kxly.com. If you think the potholes in Spokane are bad, wait until you see this. Coming up, the massive sinkhole that swallowed up 3 cars. Plus, WSU fans get a first chance to see their Cougs in action.
It was a warm day, but we did have a little bit of breeze that kind of spoiled that. However, we have better weather on the way. I'll tell you all about it in just a few minutes.